welcome to my YouTube channel. For those that are just joining us, you're welcome. Please click the subscribe button. Subscribe. Welcome to the 360 degree live channel. In this channel, we talk about personal development, we talk about career coaching, we talk about life, we talk about everything that would make you become the best version of yourself. Yeah. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Please click the subscribe button. If today is your first time coming to this channel, click the subscribe button. I'll wait there for you. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we are going now into the session. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Today we are talking about mistake as a tool for success, and I'd like you to make use of the lessons you'll be learning now. So let's talk about mistake. So a lot of times we go through a lot of situations, a lot of setbacks, and some of those things are our faults. So the ones that we actually did, they are the ones we actually had no control. It wasn't our fault. But the ones that were our faults, those are the ones that we term mistakes. For example, I'll give a childhood scenario. You were washing a dish and it slipped out of your hands. A dish slipped out of your hands, and it broke down. That's a mistake. It's a very big mistake. You didn't plan for it, but you did it anyways. So how has mistake been a limiting tool to us all these years? You see, there's a psychology of mistake, especially when you are come from a background where for every single mistake you do, you'll be spanked. Like the African background and the African home, you'll be spanked, you'll be flogged. um you might be even getting reference to it. What do I mean by reference to it? So for example, you had done that silly mistake, and maybe 2 days after 2 days after, your dad, your siblings make a joke or fun out of it, but to you it wasn't really funny because you didn't plan to do it, but you did it anyways. So you see, those things actually drop into us some limiting factors, some things that we grew up with, and we do not know that it is there until we start, having a lot of setbacks, a lot of failure, a lot of experiences that makes us feel like we are nothing, that makes us feel like we can't go any further, that makes us feel like life is against us, like every single thing is against us. But that's not what mistakes were meant to be. Mistakes were meant to serve as a learning tool. So what do I mean a learning tool? It's supposed to serve, for example, example of the dish falling off your hands. That mistake was there so that when next you're carrying a dish, you've learned better how to hold it, so that it doesn't slip again. So if we had used the mistake that way, trust me, we would have had a lot of opportunities. We would have used our experience, our mistakes to create a lot of opportunities for ourselves. Now, why do we have this limiting belief about mistakes? Why is it there? Right? Why is it there? Want to talk about why it is there. The reason why it's there is because we don't deal with the problem. Yeah. Number one reason why it's there is because we don't deal with the problem. So we tend to cover it up. Have you seen someone that makes a mistake and is quickly rushing to cover it up? That person used to be me. Yeah. So when I make a mistake, I quickly, because I'm scared of, growing up, because I'm scared of the reactions, I'm scared of what people will think, what my family will say, what people will say, and so on and so forth. Because I'm scared of that, I'll quickly wrap it up, I'll quickly cover it up, make the whole place look like nothing happened. Yeah, and growing up, moving forward, you keep piling up things that way. And it has a way of, you know, limiting us personally. So don't pile up your mistakes. Don't cover it up. Learn from it. Learn from it. Deal with it. Deal with it. You've made this mistake. Why did you make that mistake? Why? Was it your fault? Was it not your fault? Like I said, um, whether it is your fault or it's not your fault, take responsibility for it. Why did it happen in the first place? Now that it has happened, how can we take full responsibility for it? How can we understand that men will react in a certain way? That is not our fault. That there's no way we can control other people's reactions, right? But they will react in their certain ways. And then when they react in those ways, you have to man up to deal with that. All right. Why are you manning up to deal with it? Because you truly, truly, truly want to learn from it. And because you have the mindset of learning from it, you will end up getting over the reactions. You understand that the reaction would be there. Or it will definitely be there. So because you understand that it will be there, you have prepared your mind for it, and then you know taking responsibility will not be difficult. Don't pile up your mistakes. Don't cover it up like my childhood self. It won't help. It has more disadvantage to its advantage, you know, in the long run because you're building up and building up and building up that way. So the number two way you can make use of your mistake is by owning it. Own it. Have that confidence to own it. It's your mistake. You should be proud of it because it you just learned something new. Own it. Have the confidence to. So this is not you being rude. This is not you being um not you being so whatever it is that others may say. No, this is not you being that. This is you not allowing it the situation, the scenario to have the best out of your emotions. All right, you're not allowing the scenarios, the situations to have the best out of your emotions because mistakes can really really tamper with our emotions. And if we don't deal with it, gives us, it makes us have you seen somebody that says, well, I'm just a reserved person, I don't like trouble? No, not true. That person is actually avoiding mistakes, and that is what happens when you don't own it. It's your mistake. You learned from it. I'm sure the person that is mouth bad washing you, the person that's saying all sorts of things, has not learned what you have just learned. You know? So own it. It's yours. It's your mistake. Own it. Own it. Pick up the lessons from it. Don't let it get to your emotions. Don't be so emotional about it. Oh, if I had known, I would have done it better. If I had known, I wouldn't have. Hello, what if you didn't know? Because it had happened so that you would know. So stop the if I had known, I would have done it better. If I had known, I would do this. If I had known is very good. Actually, don't get me wrong. It's very good that you identified that if you had known. But then the mistake was actually made for you to know. It was actually made for you to know. So yes, now you have known. So maybe in future you can say, now that I've known that doing it this way is not right. Next time, I'll do it better. Now that I've known that going out by this time can make them take my phone, next time I will try to either work with someone or I'll try to be more careful. Mhm. You want it. Don't allow it get to you. Don't allow you get to your emotions. Don't allow it all to you. Deal with it and move on. Right? Deal with it and move on. Now, the very third thing you have to do, we've learned that you have to learn from it. We've learned that you have to own it and, of course, take responsibility for it. Then the very next thing you want to do, you want to track it. Track it. Do you know why you have to track it? It's because when you don't track it, yes, you have learned from it. Yes, you have owned it. If you don't track it, it will keep repeating. You know, you keep having similar experiences. You keep making similar mistake. So track it. Track when you are, most times mistakes are things that happens when we're in a certain state of mind, when we're in certain moods, when we are in certain, when we're experiencing certain things in our lives. So track it. Track when you are most vulnerable. Track when you're most likely to make a mistake. Track when those things happen, like those things that are really a mistake. Track when they happen. Track it. Track it. Have a track record. So you can have something like an experience journal. Have an experience journal on Seller. You can buy it. Use it to track your experiences. Track the mistakes. Track it. When you track it, you can identify that, oh, this time I made this mistake. This is what I've learned from it. Maybe next time when you make the same mistake, you might even learn something totally new, totally different. This is what I've learned from it. Next time, possibly I don't want to even make this mistake again. You understand? You don't want to make that mistake again. So because you don't want to make that mistake again, what do? You would learn, because you already have a track record, you already have a tracker. You will track all that you've learned from similar mistakes, and try as much as possible to understand the scenarios that causes it, that leads to it, and then you work on it not repeating itself. So you have to learn from the mistake, you have to own it, you have to track it. Track it. You understand? Track. It's very important that you do so. It's very, very important that you track your mistake. You know, um, I want to give a scenario or a life experience. Uh, at a certain time in life, there were certain things that kept happening to me, and I'm always like, why is this happening to me? I Am I the only one? Why does people hate me? This, that, this. Sorry if you are not Nigerian. The Nigerians will understand better. Kinikon, kinikon, those kind of things. Why is this all happening to me? Alright. I didn't understand that those things really happened, at times where I was literally most vulnerable, highly vulnerable, you know. So, but when I started using these tips that I'm sharing with you today, using the mistake as a tool for success, and the three, steps to making it, using the mistakes as a success, when I started learning from it, so I said, the first time this thing happened, let's go back to the first time it happened. The first time it happened, you were in so place, you were doing so thing, you were feeling this way. The second time it happened, something similar. The only difference was you were in a different location. You're in a different location. And then, that state of mind, that position where I had to start recalling the past experience of the same kind of mistake, exactly the same mistake. When I started tracking it, when I started recalling it, I started noticing that, oh, yeah, this thing really happens when I'm most vulnerable. So what do I do? Whenever I'm most vulnerable, I try to put myself in situations where I can just be sleeping or eating. I know there'll be a lot of psychological stories about this, you get, but my point is, when you identify when you track your mistakes, you'll be at a more better position to help yourself to not do that again. Or even if it should happen again, you would know how to manage it. All right, you know how to manage it, you know how to use it to help yourself, or to stop it, whatever the case may be. The most important thing is that you have learned how to use it. That's the most important thing. All right. So I hope that this short training, this short session, this short um, session helps you to sit down, recall your experiences. Possibly there's a certain mistake that you dread so much, and it has made you so timid a person. It has made you so reserved. You're not bringing out the best version of you. You can't even move because whenever you're trying to move, it's as though the certain mistake just tries to, bring you back and start telling you that you can't do that, you're not worthy, you can't. All of those things, those kind of mistakes can make you start doing that. All right, so when you're in that position, please remember, when you have those kinds of uh, experiences, remember what you've learned today. um, Recall past experiences and own it, deal with it. Don't allow anybody make you feel less of yourself. It's your mistake. You have learned from it and you're moving on with it. That's why it's there. It's called a mistake so that you can learn. It's actually, you can even use another word for it, to make it better. You can use a lesson. It's a lesson, all right? It's your lesson. You've learned from it, own it, and build your life from it. Do not allow anybody pressure you down. You might want to get my book, The Person Behind the Scene, a practical way to boosting your confidence. It's on seller, and it's actually on pre-order on seller. You can pre-order it. Once it is out, you get it. In that book, I've written about how to boost your confidence by knowing yourself, handling your emotions, dealing with your mistakes, all right, by knowing your thoughts, your mind, having control of your mind. And you have a lot of questions where you can write, a lot of reflective questions that can help you write down all, of those things that limits your self-esteem, that gives you low self-esteem, to boost it. Because when you learn to own it, nobody can talk you down of it. So yeah, that's it for today's session on mistakes as a tool for success. Hope to see you next time. We'll be going live. I'll let you all know on the platform. Please don't miss it. Our live sessions are very insightful. If you miss it, there's a replay on YouTube. Go there and watch it on the 360 Degree Life. Thank you very much. Bye. Have a great day.